Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7. Now today, got some more Epic 7 World Championships for you guys. This time we're taking a look at the losers bracket here. Apocalypse versus ReTryEver. Apocalypse representing the Asia server, and ReTryEver representing the Korea server. Both of these players have lost their previous matches. Apocalypse lost to Poopist, and ReTryEver lost to Uigong. So now we're gonna see these two face off against each other, and whoever loses this is gonna be kicked out of the tournament, which is very unfortunate. But the show must go on. So we see over here both these players opting to go for a more traditional match because Apocalypse banned out the Emo Landy. Banned out Zio as well. ReTryEver banned out the Lua and the Spectre Tenebria. So Spectre Tenebria and Emo Landy being gone means two hyper carry DPSs are out of the picture. See Lilius getting picked up by ReTryEver as the first pick. Oh, he's gonna get Handguy and a Ravi, both pretty decent picks into what Apocalypse had. Ocean Breeze Luluka is a great pick into the C Lilius. Unfortunately, he didn't pick up the Handguy along with her. Opted to go for the Lionheart. Surmia does not want Lionheart to get used against this Ocean Breeze Luluka, and wants to punish the C Lilius with an early Surmia pick. Now, the Apocalypse Ravi is a really strong unit over here on ReTryEver's side, offering a lot of damage into this Lionheart Surmia and the bulk to actually survive S3s from her, which is very valuable. Para is actually going to get picked up here. She's pretty good because the Unbuffable prevents the C Lilius from getting a Vigor buff onto everybody, and the Restrict actually prevents the Emo Calric from cutting with Warhorn, essentially locking him into his speed stat. So we see the Aiden get picked up on Apocalypse's side, pretty strong actually into Apoc Ravi and the Handguy there, especially since some people use her as specifically a dark unit nuke. So she's really good in that regards. ReTryEver though, gonna opt to go for the Zahak and Bryceria, two counter picks into this Aiden. I don't know how well this is gonna fare for this draft here on ReTryEver's side, because if the if the MO Calric gets banned out, I don't see how his team could potentially recover from Luluka's debuffs. But we do see a Green Sid getting picked up, really fast unit here, gonna get banned out. He's also Speed Imprint for the team. Okay, opting to go for an Apoc Ravi ban. It's actually probably pretty smart there. He knows the Aiden's not gonna get banned out, and it's really unlikely that Lionheart will. Probably assumed that the Sid was going to get banned there, and because there's two anti-evasion units, there's no real point in banning one of them, because you're still going to have to face the other one. In this case though, Para is going to take the first turn. She has the highest base speed out of all the units here, so it's much easier to get speed onto her. Landing Restrict on the Emo Calric is very good. Unbuffable on Bryceria is also fantastic. If you can get the Bryceria down really low on health, then this she won't be able to proc her immortality and keep it. So we see the C Lilius taking a turn after the Para. There's no RNL or anything like that. She just opts to go for the S3, getting the Escort buff up, protecting the team. And they're trying to go ahead and attack this Luluka here, opting to not go for the non-attack skill, which means the dual attack's going to proc the Lionheart Surmia. And we're going to see Zahak come in. So he can actually cleanse this Bryceria with the S2, could try to push her up as well, and then use his S3 onto the Aiden, try to take her out. There's an Escort buff though, which could actually hurt quite a bit. Opting to not go for the S2. Can the Zahak still kill here? Oh, can't kill. 11k damage. ReTryEver really wanted to make sure that this Luluka could not do anything. Yeah, and if he went for the S2, Luluka would be able to cut, so that's actually really strong on Apocalypse's part, that Luluka pick, paying off dividends now. Now we see the Lionheart Surmia coming in. She's on Golden Rose, so a lot of damage coming out. Oh, Bryceria actually got taken down to the Immortality proc. She doesn't get to keep the Immortality because the Unbuffable, and then she gets taken out by Lionheart Surmia. So now we see Emil Calric taking the turn here. Probably not going to be using his non-attack skill. Again, that would just fuel the Luluka. Should be able to cut here. He's going to attack the Aiden. She's going to counter. That is going to be a lot of health recovered here. And it seems like she is on lifesteal. And that is actually going to be enough from ReTryEver to throw in the towel and say, you know what? That's it. I've had enough. That was a really quick match. And a little disappointing too. Yeah, the Ocean Breeze Luluko is definitely a very strong pick in that regard, stopping the Zahak from doing what he needed to do, which was take out that Aiden. Alright, so going to the second round over here, ReTryEver gonna opt to go for that first pick, see Lilius, and we see that Ocean Breeze Luluka picked yet again on Apocalypse's side. Good to see that Lionheart Sirmia get picked up as well. Lionheart into C. Lilius, again, is not too bad. Especially with the Ocean Breeze Luluka, this essentially locks the opponent in, right? They can either use a non-attack skill and proc Luluka, or they could dual attack and proc the Lionheart Sirmia, just like we saw in the last round. So now I see what Apocalypse is going for here. ReTryEver is looking like he's thinking real hard. He gets 2 more picks. And what can he do into this Lionheart and Luluka combo? Handguy is still a pretty decent option though. If you use your C. Lilius, you can just make sure that the Luluka goes and cuts, uses her non-attack skill, puts some debuffs on you, and then your Handguy can go ahead and cleanse. But we see the Yolha get picked out, so 3 support units on ReTryEver's side. Apoc Ravi was banned from the previous round, so ReTryEver's not able to access her, which means he needs 2 really strong DPSs, right, coming up here. This Yolha is pretty good into Lionheart Sirmia, again, like I've said in previous matches that we've commentated over and watched together. This Yolha is able to soak up all the damage from Lionheart's S3 and then throw it out back at them, usually taking out the Lionheart herself, as she is typically the only damage dealer. And as we can see, Apocalypse is doing just that. Solitaria getting picked out here as a support unit into ReTryEver's team, and he's opting to go for a Dark Corvus, a very bold play, seeing that on the other side we have Sharoon, who is really good at applying injury through Venom. Right, let's see what Apocalypse is going to go for. Probably another injury unit here. Could be pretty good to get against Dark Corvus and Yolha, although I don't think Apocalypse is going to let that Dark Corvus through. He's going to have to go for Zahak instead, and Zahak's a pretty good choice into that Aiden. So now we'll see who the bans actually are. I believe Dark Corvus is going to be taken out here, and I think it's either going to be the Zahak. You have to take out the Zahak knowing that your Dark Corvus is banned out. Otherwise, your Aiden might just get sniped right away. Yeah, so there we go. The correct bans coming in from both players. Nice little attempt at trap and draft right there. Unfortunately for ReTryEver though, it's sole DPS Aiden facing down Lionheart, who doesn't really care about the counterattack on Aiden's part. Actually fuels the Lionheart and her fighting spirit. And she's also facing down Solitaria, which is not looking great. Solitaria can provide a lot of utility to the team and still debuff through evasion. So we'll see what happens. See, Lily is going to open up the match over here with the S3 Vigor buff for everybody, increasing the Aiden's damage output, actually, getting that extra attack bonus and a defense bonus, so she can live a bit longer. Most of these players have pretty tanky Aidens. We'll see if ReTryEver changed his build since the last match that he played. So Luluka opting to go for the S3 after she cut the Sea Lilius, because she used a non-attack skill. No debuffs on the Aiden, she managed to evade. Ice Cream buff on everyone on Apocalypse's side, and we see the Solitaria just coming in with an S1, because watch this. When she goes for the AoE, she misses onto the Aiden, but still lands a speed down. Really, really powerful debuffs coming out from Solitaria. Now she's stealth, and honestly, with only a single target unit on the other side, on ReTryEver's side here, there's no way that he can ever reach the Solitaria unless he gets through everyone else first. But with double Soul Weavers, right, with Sharoon, probably on Guardian Ice Crystals, never mind, on Celestine, and you have this Luluka over here, who has a defense buff for the whole team and Ice Cream buff as well, is not looking great. So yeah, Yoha's gonna go and just kind of chip away at this Lionheart Sirmia. There's not a whole ton of damage coming in. I don't see how this Aiden can really burst through double Soul Weavers and Lionheart Sirmia, even though there's no damage mitigation. Because again, look at the debuffs on the Lilius here, right? And the blind on the Aiden, this Cowrick, about half his health now. And this Sharoon can just keep locking him down. Look at that, he can't ever cleanse the team. This is tragic for ReTryEver at the moment. His Cowrick still has a speed down. It is going to probably go away. Oh, but look at that, getting reset again from the counter. He can't even lap this Sharoon. Trying to get around her. He has to try to focus her down. She's going to keep counterattacking. Look at that dual attack from the Sea Lilius. Very unfortunate. Celestine healing herself back up. It's as if Apocalypse never took any damage. And the Lionheart Sirmia is at full fighting spirit. She's able to unleash her S3 and is probably going to take out this ML Cowrick. So Yoha is still stunned over here. Yeah, this Lionheart Sirmia, once this ML Cowrick goes down, actually not going for the S3 there. Doesn't want to risk waking up the Yoha. So Solitaria able to cut here, probably finish off the ML Cowrick. She is on Fairy Tail for a Nightmare, as you can see, for the chip damage. There you go. The only cleanser on the team is down. Solitaria able to reach units that have evasion, like Aiden. This is not looking good. ReTryEver is probably losing this match as well. I just don't see how he can get past the double Soul Weaver Lionheart to get to the Solitaria at all. Right? Unless, of course, Apocalypse hits the Aiden, she counters, and she hits the Solitaria out of stealth. But I just don't see it happening. With Yoha as a good target, with Sea Lilius as a good target, there's just an endless amount of alternatives for Apocalypse to go for. Right, so Sharoon is, again, going for the control play here. So much value from her just existing and using S1. So she basically reset the Yoha right there. She cannot use her S3 now. And you see ReTryEver very visibly irritated there in his webcam earlier. He's going to go ahead and stun the Sea Lilius. Lionheart Sirmia gets to go. Might as well just rip the S3. This should kill the Yoha. And we'll see if this Aiden can actually do anything here. No, she gets crit 14k damage. And that is going to be it. ReTryEver, unfortunately, losing this right here. Apocalypse finishing him off. That's a very swift 2-0 from Apocalypse's side. Right, ReTryEver, this is match point. Apocalypse needs to win one more round in order to win the entire match, knocking ReTryEver out of the Epic 7 World Championships in 2023. So Apocalypse is going to go for the first pick here. Sea Lilius getting picked up. Again, when ML Landy is banned, we really see a transition back to the previous meta. And with this first pick from Apocalypse, he's switching things up. ReTryEver has an opportunity now to counterplay. Will he be using the same units that Apocalypse used against him? We see the Lionheart Sirmia get picked up. Pretty decent pick into Sea Lilius. Not terrible, but definitely want to couple her with something like Ocean Breeze Luluka if you really want to get some value against that Sea Lilius, forcing one of the units to proc early on to the match. Opting to not go for that, going for the Arwell though. Let's see if ReTryEver's damage mitigation for the team will help pay off here. Aola getting picked up on Apocalypse's side, pretty decent actually, because once you get hit by a Lionheart Sirmia's S3, Aola will put a skill null on everybody, and then you will not take any damage from the S1 that comes after. She also has the potential to just put Unbuffable on everybody, get rid of the Escort buff on the Arwell, and prevent her from getting it again on subsequent turns. Can strip Lionheart's buffs, especially important. The defense buff, in which she scales damage with, and the resist buff too. Right, so we're gonna see Aiden get picked up on Apocalypse's side, saying, hey, I saw you use her last round, I actually kind of want to use her in this one, so let's pick her up here. ReTryEver gets 2 more picks. Unfortunately, he is on the back foot here, because with these 2 picks, he's essentially showing his opponent his entire draft. The first 4 units are essentially what he's going to use, since most players force ban the last unit that's picked. Oh, but we see Acades get picked out on ReTryEver's side. Hey, I really, really want to see her in action, especially because I personally don't have her, and I really, really want her. I think her design is absolutely beautiful, but we're going to have to wait for Galaxy Summon sometime in the future for that. If you want to see a massive Galaxy bookmark summon session, by the way, be sure to subscribe, because we're going to be doing one to celebrate 20,000 subscribers, and we're inching closer every single day. So Archdemon going to get picked up to round out ReTryEver's draft. Braceria and Opsig on the other side. That's going to be very punishing, especially because the Arwell gives a barrier to all the light units on ReTryEver's side. Dilbeck getting picked up as the last unit. Going to be okay into Aeola and Celilius. But this is still a bit of an issue, right? There's so many debuffers on Apocalypse's side. Braceria especially providing that unbuffable and that defense break. Could be very, very bad for ReTryEver if he's not careful. So we're going to see the bans come out. Dilibet, yep, the only cleanser on the team getting taken away. Operator Sigrid is a must ban because of the Arwell that's on ReTryEver's side. If Opsig goes first, which she probably will, since ReTryEver's whole team is pretty slow, she'll be able to snipe down any of the light units and essentially leave ReTryEver with nothing. Yeah, so let's see here. Lilia's going to be taking the first turn. She's pretty bulky, 21k health. We've seen her before. She's going to give the vigor buff to everybody. Aeola's going to be going right afterwards, though. Well, actually, I take that back. Aeola is not. Acadius has a passive, much like Sage Ball, when her skill is available, her cleansing skill is available. She is able to jump in combat readiness, so she hops up above this Aeola, and look at that, only one debuff on ReTryEver's side. Lionheart Sirmia with the attack down. It looks like the Archdemon might be on a resist build here, resisting the provoke as well. We see the counterattack coming in from the Aiden because Acadius decided to S1 into her, likely on purpose to get that Lionheart Sirmia proc. Aeola is gonna S3 though. That's really bad because look, the Lionheart Sirmia almost cut those 3% short. So now she's not only silenced, but she's unbuffable. She's lost that defense buff, that resistance buff. And ReTryEver again on that back end once more. Now, if Acadius can cycle fast enough, she can actually turn all of these debuffs into buffs, right? But ReTryEver got a little lucky there, hitting the Apocalypse's Aiden and actually getting a crit onto her. Oh, look at that counter. Look at the seal onto the Aiden. The seal is huge. This essentially gets rid of Aiden's entire passive, and without a cleanser on Apocalypse's side, this is not looking too great. Aeola can cleanse though if she's hit by an AoE, but we're going to have to wait and see if Archdemon actually procs her AoE. Braceria going in with the S3, laying more debuffs down onto ReTryEver's side. Look at that. Oh, that Archdemon is going to go down. It's a lot of damage from the Braceria. And is this Acadius going to be able to do this? Unfortunately, we see the silence actually go away from the Arwell, but there are going to be 2 buffs on every unit that are going to be converted into buffs here, right? So all these debuffs are going away. We're probably going to see Acadius pop that S3, so let's see that animation come out from ReTryEver. Can't wait to see it. But hoping for some good buffs, right? Because Acadius has RNG in her skill, much like how Earth Rin has RNG with the buffs that she gives the team. Acadius, when she cleanses, let's see what she does. Barrier on herself is pretty good, but the crit damage buff is pretty useless. Arwell getting that anti-crit buff and the revive buff is actually kind of huge. Right? Well, not really, because the Braceria is going to crit her anyway. Lionheart Sirmia getting that immunity and that defense buff, not too bad. The immunity prevents the Aeola from trying to silence her, so she will be able to get this next S3 off, and the defense buff obviously helping her with the damage scaling. Guardian Ice Crystals on the Acadius, keeping this Arwell nice and healthy. The anti-crit actually coming in a little bit here to save ReTryEver's Arwell. So she is going to live to see another day. We're going to see the S3 come out from this Lionheart Sirmia. Let's see what she's able to do. Oh, we see a bunch of damage coming out. So the seal is going to get cleansed off of this Aiden and this Braceria, actually. She gets her immortality procced, but unfortunately at this point, she has a skill nullifier as well. So it's going to take 2 hits to get rid of her, right? Guaranteed. Okay, so Lionheart's going to attack the Aiden and just do it on purpose to proc again. If you get lucky and you crit her, that's great. But if you get unlucky, that's also great because Lionheart benefits from that interaction. See, Lilia's gonna try to go for the R-Wall. She keeps getting pushed back and keeps getting silenced, but Acades has something else in mind. She has an S2 that can actually push up the units on her team. Let's see who she opts to go for here. Could try to cleanse the R-Wall, or could try to go for the Lionheart Sirmia, opting to go for the R-Wall, so she does get a little bit of a cleanse, a little push, and now we see R-Wall having that S3 available to her. She could try to go for maybe Briarwitch Iceria. I think that would be one of the better plays here to get rid of the immortality, and the hit will get rid of the skill null. But nope, opting to go for the Sea Lilius instead, perhaps confident that his team can lap. Or if this Lionheart Sirmia has an S3 here, she could deal quite a bit of damage while getting rid of the skill null on that Braceria too. Oh, unfortunately, no. Aeola gonna be silencing her. Not gonna be able to get that S3 off on this turn. So Aiden is now going in onto this Acades. Damage is a little bit spread out on Apocalypse's side. He might just be trying to wait for that revive buff to go away, but look at that. The Guardian Ice Crystals healing up the R-Well from all the damage that Braceria just did. Aeola doesn't have her passive up just yet. Lionheart Sirmia has an S3, but unfortunately still silenced here. Who's she gonna go for, right? At this point, she doesn't really want to proc somebody else's passive again. He is gonna hit the Braceria, get rid of her skill nullifier since her immortality has faded. Aeola is gonna keep silencing this Lionheart Sirmia. Really nice plays from Apocalypse, but again, at this point, I don't know if he can really do this. Both players looking kind of iffy in terms of their teams. I would say ReTryEver has a bit of an edge right now, though. He has a really good damage mitigation unit on the other side. Just took out the Braceria, and Lionheart Sirmia still has that S3 available. The only issue is that she needs to not be silenced. Acades going to get Soul Burn, going to stun that Sea Lilius. And we're going to see this Sirmia come in as well. She's probably going to try to break a skill null here. Oh no, instead, wow, really greedy play going for that Aiden. I guess it's not that greedy, given that she's already used her counter attack there. So it's kind of safe to hit her, especially if she's taking her turn pretty soon regardless. Aeola coming in with the non-attack skill, her S3, putting the unbuffable and the silence on everybody. Ooh, that is really bad. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe there was a cleanse on the S3 for Acades, but she did have an S2, which could have helped quite a bit. So, opting to go for an S1, try to stun the Sea Lilius, not gonna get it. R-Wall healing up a little bit, desperately trying to get some of Aeola's health down. Okay, so we see the S3 coming out, Vigor buffs coming back, the attack downs on everyone on ReTryEver's side yet again. So we'll see if this this game can closed out here. We're in Frenzy 5, right? The stage in the background has changed. Lionheart Sirmia, 4 debuffs right here. Acades does have her S3, but no, she's gonna resist that silence from the Aeola. Most Acades are actually built with quite a bit of resist, so it's good to see. Let's see if she can actually pull this off. Immunity, crit damage buff, greater attack buff, stealth on the Lionheart Sirmia, stealth on the R-Wall too, keeping everybody alive. This is not who this Aiden wants to hit. S3 gonna be coming in on Acades. She might be falling here, but that is perfectly fine. She's done her job already. ReTryEver looking in a really strong position right now. No control coming out from this Aeola into his Lionheart Sirmia because she has that immunity. And of course that damage bonus from the crit damage buff is going to be huge. While Sirmia is not an attack scaling unit, every little bit of damage counts. That greater attack buff could prove to be pretty useful. R-Wall going to go for the S3 onto the Aeola. She can't be stunned, but the buffs can be stripped. And we're going to see that ReTryEver really wants to take her out here. So getting rid of those buffs onto her is going to be very nice. We see the Lionheart proc and getting even more buffs here. 7 buffs on this Lionheart Sirmia. This is looking great for ReTryEver. All he needs to do is rip that S3, and if he can hit this Aiden, it's even better. Let's see if he can wipe the floor with Apocalypse's team here. S3 coming in. We have a miss on the Aiden, but look at that. And we see the Aeola going down. Sea Lilius very, very low on health. Lionheart Sermia is going to cycle out of her skills. Let's see if she can go for this Aiden right now. She's already used her counterattack just now, so there's no problem in hitting her. Oh, we see... We see the crit coming in, so the Aiden goes down, and Apocalypse gonna be conceding to ReTryEver. Well played, and I love to see that Acadi's pick. Super fun. Okay, so hopping into the 4th round over here again, still match point. Apocalypse just needs to win one more to take the entire winner's bracket away from the ReTryEver on the right side. So, Sea Lily is going to come out from Apocalypse here. She's proven herself to be quite formidable, especially with Emma Landy gone. She has a really commanding hold on the first pick. Right? Everyone wants her. She's super versatile. ReTryEver going to opt to go for Aola as his first pick unit, and might follow up with a Last Rider Crow. Now, Last Rider Crow is a unit that doesn't do all too well into Aola, so he could honestly just leave the Last Rider Crow if he wants to pick him later, because Apocalypse is not going to be picking Ella Crow into an Aola. If Ella Crow S3s, Aola puts up a skill null for the team, and Aola can also strip, put a buffable, and silence LRK as well, right? Essentially preventing him from doing his job. Alright, so we see the Arwell coming out from ReTryEver's side. He kind of likes this tank down strategy. A lot of that damage mitigation coming in handy from that last round there. We see Handguy and Aiden get picked out though. Another Aiden showcase here. She has some pretty good damage potential. See a Lionheart Sermia get picked up. Pretty decent way of punishing the Aiden indirectly, but also a great way of vertically just punishing the opponent there. So now Emma Leica getting picked up at the end. Are we going to see a Strazi come out? Because looking at ReTryEver's team, I mean, there's a Karina there, but none of the units on ReTryEver's side is necessarily fast. Lethe actually could be the pick. Quite interesting. Alright, let's see what happens now with this. I can definitely see Lethe being, lethal without, with her ability to ignore damage sharing from Arwell and her really high true damage, right? She's essentially like a Sage Ball that's low on health, that's sniping somebody down. Yeah, she can definitely do work. I like to compare her to like Dark Corvus. She's like a mini version of Dark Corvus, right? Don't need as many turns to ramp up and charge, but you also don't deal nearly as much damage as Dark Corvus could. We're going to see Shuna get picked up as the last unit here by ReTryEver, and let's see what the bans are going to be. I think the Emma Leica is going to get banned out, otherwise they'll make the fight a 3v4, and that's just not going to be too favorable for ReTryEver here. What is Apocalypse going to ban though? The Lionheart Sermia is a little tempting. There we go. Lionheart Sermia getting banned. Wait, the Sea Lily is getting left. Wait a minute, Sea Lily is getting banned here. That is not the right pick. ReTryEver needs to ban out the Leica. There's no way that his Shuna is going to be able to cut an Emma Leica here. And this is going to be, this is over. I think he threw. I think ReTryEver threw this match right here. Look at this Leica just going, right? She is going to soul burn, and she does not care if this Karina goes down. She's a soul DPS. Look at that. Shuna's not even close to cutting, and Leica's going to come in with the S3, ignoring defense. And look at that. It's over. Karina going down. Yeah, that's it. With an Aola and an Arwell and a Shuna, there is absolutely zero chance that he's going to win against a Lethe on the other side. That could just be bursting units down, and ReTryEver very visibly disappointed, walking off the screen right there too. So Apocalypse taking a sip of victory from his goblet is going to be moving on in this tournament. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more Epic 7 content. And until next time, take care.